Hey folks, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another collection discussion video. Little sip. This time on one of my favorite, and to me, one of the most underrated action stars, the Dolph Lundgren. Yes, one day I would like to do a marathon of reviews for this guy, but they do take a while, so who knows when. There's still quite a few of his I don't have, his later ones, like I think he was one called Larceny or something, and Riot, and War Pigs, and so I would like to get them, but why not start off with my favorite Dolph Lundgren film, I Come in Peace. One of my favorite films ever. I love this film to death. I wish this Blu-ray had more features than just a 20-some minute featurette with Kratar Batchley, Dolph Lundgren, and Brian Benben. Cool, it's nice to hear their thoughts on the film, but to me it should have been longer. You could have had more features. So I think this is one that Scream Factory dropped the ball on. I'm not going to kiss Scream Factory's ass. But this is, I mean, fuck, the Garbage Pail Kids Blu-ray has more features. Who the fuck likes that movie? I know quite a few people who love this movie, including me. So it deserved more than just this. Come on now. But it was nice that this finally got a Blu-ray. It deserves it. I know it's also called Dark Angel, but I prefer I Come in Peace. I love this movie to death. I love what they got away with a low budget. I love the action. I love the plot. I love the idea of a drug dealer getting drugs from the inside of a human brain, endorphins. I love the buddy cop cliches, the chemistry between Dolph and Brian Benben. You got some badass moments. You got one of the great lines, I come in peace, and you go in pieces, asshole. I love this movie to death. Love I Come in Peace. Love it. Next up is Red Scorpion. Really good release by Synapse. I heard that they did not do well with the sales on this, which is disappointing, because they did a damn good job on this. It's probably why Synapse hasn't released any other... Not too many quite like this, because it didn't do well. I don't know why. It's a great release. It has a commentary. It's got interview with Dolph Lundgren, interview with the producer, interview with Tom Savini, who worked on some little bit of the effects. Like the guy who gets his arm blown off. Yeah. Trailer, TV spots, rare on-set behind-the-scenes video footage. And this is a great flick. This is one of the first films Dolph got to star in. And that's a beautiful poster, too. That's an awesome poster. Kick-ass action movie. In a way, sort of, I guess people say Dolph Lundgren's version of Rambo. He plays another Russian, Spetsnaz, Soviet Special Forces, and he goes against his bosses to defend these tribesmen in Africa. Kicks a lot of ass, takes names. This is a badass action movie. Red Scorpion, directed by Joseph Zito, who did Invasion USA and Friday the 13th Part 4, among many others. Yeah, one of my favorite Dolph Lundgren films. This is from Shout Factory, The Joshua Tree, also known as Army of One, which I do have right here. Now, I keep the DVD because there were two versions of the film. And the best way to tell is the ending. Army of One, the ending, has a little bit more fighting in it. And I prefer this version of the film. Plus, I prefer this title, Army of One. It just sounds like a better title for an action flick. The Joshua Tree, all I think of is the band U2. And, you know, they had an album, I believe, called The Joshua Tree. So I know you see the Joshua Tree in the movie. But this has the... I mean, they have the alternate ending, but as a separate feature. I wish they had just both cuts of the film on it. I mean, hell, they did that with The Protector. Granted, it's not the best quality, but still, I wish they did not have this version of the film. I wish it was this version of the film. It has not all right. I mean, at least Dolph Lundgren is interviewed. director Vic Armstrong and producer Andy Armstrong, and then there's a commentary with the director and producer. So it's cool that, Dolph talks about the film. And that's cool about Dolph. He's actually willing to talk about his movies. How many action stars do that? You don't. I mean, he's always willing to talk about Rocky 4. He's on the interviews for Universal Soldier. He was on the interviews for I Come in Peace. This one. A brief one on The Punisher. I wish it was a lot longer, but I think I blame the production company more than Dolph on that. It seems like he's willing to talk about his movies. I like that. So yes, the Joshua Tree. Instead of a Blu-ray DVD combo pack, how about the 2 discs be both versions of the movie? But I guess maybe they couldn't get the rights to this version, so they got the rights to this version. Maybe that's why, but yeah. I will stick with this one because it has... And the movie itself, some really good action set pieces. There's this John Woo type of 2-gun battle sequence in this car garage. There's a great scene where this car is driving through all these explosions left and right. This is an entertaining film, Army of One. I think it's a good one. I really like Army of One. Speaking of The Punisher. Now, I do have this release, which someone very nicely sent to me. I keep this because I love the way this looks. I love it's a steel book. This is from overseas, but this is a wonderful gift. Love the pictures on the back. I love the thing. It's a sort of like a hologram. I don't know what you call these type of covers, but I think it looks really cool. Even when you open it up, I love the artwork on the disc. And then if you take it off, there's a picture of Dolph behind it, or there is a actual Punisher, which I know that's one of the things people are like, oh, he doesn't have the skull. Heck, did Wolverine ever have his costume? But people didn't hate on Wolverine and Hugh Jackman. And that's another thing of the cool of the cover. They put the skull in the back. But yeah, this has the work print version, which is cool. And yeah, I love the way this looks, so I'll definitely keep this. And then the Umbrella Entertainment Blu-ray, which this has an unrated cut in standard definition. It's pretty much most of the violence put back in. I don't think it has the opening 10 minutes, which was cut out, but I think it has most of the violence put back in. You also have a commentary with director Mark Goldblatt. Interview with Dolph Lundgren, which should have been a lot longer. It's like he was just getting out of the gym, because the interview's like in a gym. And it's like he just got out of the shower, and they're just like, hey, can you talk about it for like 3 minutes? And I'm like, come on, man. I don't know if these people just, hey, he's better than nothing. Like, ask him about working with Louis Gossett Jr., who we worked with twice. This and a shitty one called Cover Up. I mean, it's cool that Dolph is there, but there's a lot more interviews you could... I mean, there's a lot more you could ask him. You also have a trailer, gag reel. So, this deserves more features, but it does have some stuff, so it's not bare bones, but yeah, the interview with Dolph should have been a lot longer. I will say that. But this is still great to have for the collection. I mean, this is easily in my top 5 favorite Dolph Lundgren films. I love The Punisher. I love how no-nonsense it is. These bad guys are vicious bad guys. They don't give a fuck. And the Dolph, he has a huge body count. This is the Punisher like the Punisher should be. Big fucking body count. Don't give a fuck attitude. I'm sorry, I think Dolph does a great job. What do you call 127 murders in 5 years? Work in progress. I love The Punisher. Again, easily one of my absolute favorite Dolph Lundgren films. My favorite Punisher film. I like the one with Thomas Jane. I did not see the one on... I don't have Netflix. And the way my internet is, it's so shitty. There's no point in me getting Netflix, but that's another thing. My internet's pretty much shit. But... So Netflix would be pointless to me. Unless someone wants to send me it. The movie, or the show. I'm sorry, I can't see it. A newer film he was in, Skin Trade. I know some people, like my friend Effrey, they were not fans of the film. We agree to disagree. I really enjoyed this flick. I think Dolph Lundgren, Tony Jaa, Yamato Jai White, Peter Weller, Ron Perlman, you have a great cast. I think this moved at a good pace. For a film that did not get into much theaters, it was a good-looking film. It did not seem like a cheap direct-to-video flick. You have some pretty damn good action scenes. You have a fight between Dolph and Tony Jaa. You have a fight between Tony Jaa and Michael Jai White. I mean, hell, you had Dolph there with a fucking, rocket launcher. I really enjoy Skin Trade. I think it's pretty damn good. Compared to a lot of direct-to-video films, this is damn good. And, like, it was cool to see Tony Jaa in a good movie that wasn't, not shitty ones like Unbought 2 or 3 or Protector 2, where they're fighting on a fucking train tracks and sounds ripped off from lightsabers in Star Wars. If you've seen the movie, you know what I mean. This was a damn good one, though. I really enjoyed it. Getting to others, we have, let's see, we have Universal Soldier, of course, with Dolph and Jean-Claude Van Damme. I did a review for this when I reviewed the Jean-Claude Van Damme films. I reviewed pretty much all of Van Damme's movies, including this one. I love Universal Soldier, my favorite Roland Emmerich movie. To me, this is a classic film. If you want to hear more, just check out my review. Love Universal Soldier. And Dolph Lundgren, wonderful bad guy. You kiss ass, I'm kicking ass. You're busting heads. You kiss, I kick ass. Only way to win this fucking war. Like, Dolph is great. Can you hear me with a necklace of ears? Come on now. Speaking of Icon Piece, I love the film so much, I do also have this. And I'm keeping this. Dark Angel. That's the title overseas. This is the only way you could get the film until it was for a while on a DVD-R, like on demand on DVD in the US, and then Scream Factory finally got the Blu-ray. But I'm a fan of Icon Piece, so I'm fine with keeping this. Like I said, I love the film a lot. Like, a lot. Let's see. The next one, we'll talk about Shuttle no Tokyo. I talked about this when... actually, I pre-recorded. I'm not sure if I'll upload that before or after. I might upload this after. I did a video where I talked about Brandon and Bruce Lee films that I have, because unfortunately the two don't combine. Even with that, they did not get to do a lot of movies. And someone asked for that. Sorry, nose itching. If you haven't seen that, I mentioned that I know there's some people who don't like the film. We agree to disagree. I love this movie. It's one of my favorite buddy cop movies. Granted, I know there were production woes where Mark L. Lester, a lot of the stuff was cut out. That's why this film is only 78 minutes long. I would love to see that footage. I would love to see interviews with Dolph. I guarantee he would talk about the film. If he's willing to talk about Icon One Piece, and I guarantee he'd be willing to talk about this film. I guarantee it. It's just this was a Warner archive, and they don't do features. I don't even know if this had a trailer to the film, but it has no features. Film looked pretty good in HD, I will say, but this is like one of those films. It's like all the fat was trimmed out, and it's just very straightforward, You got Shane Stone himself, Cary Hayuki Tagawa as a bad guy. Tatsu from the first two Ninja Turtle movies is one of the villains. You got Dolph and Brandon Lee. I thought they worked well together. I like the lines of dialogue. I love the action. You got fist fights. You got gun battles. You got sword fights. To me, this is the real Double Dragon. If Double Dragon turned into a movie, here you go. I think Mark L. Lester, who did Commando, did a great job. I think it's one of his best movies. But yeah, I love this film. Again, easily one of my favorite Dolph Lundgren films, as well as Brandon Lee films. But I'm sure I've reviewed this before. I'm sure there's a review for this on the channel if you're interested. But yeah, I love the movie. This is a film that I wanted to give another look to. Masters of the Universe is a Blu-ray sent to me quite a while ago, which I was fine to have. Unfortunately, I heard some things about director Gary Goddard. I don't know if it's true, so I won't say anything else, but I've heard some bad things about him. But yeah, this is, I guess, the first time Dolph got to really star in a movie after Rocky IV. I was never the biggest fan of Masters of the Universe. I mean, I like the score by Bill Conti. I like the performance, but the performance by Frank Langella as Skeletor, I thought that was pretty good. But I don't know. I just wasn't. I wasn't. And Dolph didn't do bad either. It's just I do remember watching the cartoon, and I'm like, okay, so they went to Earth, well, for budget reasons, and like, did you really need these characters? I mean, there are worse characters, but I'm like, why do these two? I mean, Courtney Cox and this other guy, why do they need to be in the film? I'll do this. I want to give this another look. I'll wait till I give this another look to give my full thoughts on the film. And then this is the DVD I did have of it. Well, I still do have of it. Kept it just because. I mean, I like these snapper cases. So, and for the, I like collecting movies. I like, I love Dolph. I love to collect all of his movies. So I'm fine with that. So, which one should I talk about next? Well, another one that would be in my top 5, and I need to find where it's at. Where the hell is it? What the fuck? Where is the movie? Trying to find where there's a certain movie, and I don't know where the fuck it went. Get away. What the fuck? This is insane. I just saw it here, and now... Oh, where the fuck it went? It was just here. I swear it was just here. Going out of my fucking mind. What the fuck? Where the fuck is it? The one I'm looking for is Men of War. I know I have Men of War. I'm trying to find where the fuck it's at. I have Men of War. I know I have it. It was just here. What the fuck? I have no idea what the fuck happened to that. I have it here, God. What the fuck? I gotta show Men of War. It's easily one of his best ones. What? Oh, fuck. I put it here because I was going to talk about it next. That's how I'm losing it. I'm losing it, man. I'm losing it. Had it right here. I was looking the wrong direction. But this is in my top 5 favorite Dolph Lundgren films. Easily one of his most underrated movies. One of the writers of the film probably got changed, but John Sayles. And love this movie. To me, this is an Expendables type of movie done right. I like the first Expendables, but interesting enough, his character's name is Gunner, just like in the Expendables movies. You also have Charlotte Lewis from a little bit movie I got back here, The Golden Child. BD1, who's in the new Jurassic Park movies now, because he was in the first one. Uh, Tiny Lister Jr., who was in Friday and No Holds Barred. Trevor Goddard, may he rest in peace, he was Kano in the first Mortal Kombat movie. Kevin Teed, who was in Roadhouse. Directed by Perry Lane, which I'm not sure what else he's done, but this is a great action film. If you're a fan of Dolph Lundgren, if you've never seen Men of War, I highly suggest you check it out. Uh, Easily in my top 5 favorite Dolph films. Highly recommend this movie. Love Men of War. It's a great flick. And I won't give too much away for those who haven't seen it, but it's, again, very much well worth a look. And now, get into some of these. We have Blackjack, which is directed by John Woo. Unfortunately, this was made for cable. I believe this is supposed to be a pilot for a possible TV series, but it never went through. Because it was made for cable, even though it's rated R, it doesn't have... The opening sequence is great. After that, though, other than one or two decent bits of action, it's not up to the caliber of Hard Boiled, The Killer, Hard Target, Broken Arrow. So it's a disappointment that John Woo and Dolph worked together. It's for a made-for-cable movie. Yeah, the opening is cool, which that is part of. But after that, you tell, like, a lot of the budget probably went to the opening. And he's a federal agent who's paid to guard the lives of America's most endangered citizens. The plot really wasn't that interesting. They also did something dumb. They made his character afraid of the color white. I'm not kidding you. He looks at the color white, and it had something to do with, like, his mom or someone, like, dying, and there was white stuff. Not what you thinking, perverts, but I can't remember exactly what it was, but ultimately he's afraid of the color white. I guess he doesn't masturbate. Okay, I know that's graphic, but I guess it's fucking stupid. Maybe that's a real... Okay, that's probably a real thing, I have to imagine. But you don't put that for your action movie. That your action hero is afraid of a color. You don't do it. I don't remember why it's called Blackjack either, because I don't remember any gambling or anything, but I don't remember why it's called Blackjack. Yeah, it sounds like it's a sequel to Rounders or something. But yeah, this was a disappointing film. Very disappointing considering it's John Woo. Bridge of Dragons, this is a film I want to give another watch before I give my thoughts on it. Shane Sonosuke Teruyuki Tagawa is the villain once again, like he was in Showdown Little Tokyo. Isaac Florentine, guy who did Cold Harvest with Gary Daniels, Undisputed 2 and 3, Ninja 2 Shadow of a Tear. This is an HBO home video, as well as New Image. Again, this is a film I want to give another look before I give my thoughts on it. Bridge of Dragons, a warrior torn between loyalty and honor. Bridge of Dragons, cross it at your peril. The Minion, yeah, the cover with this low-budget skeleton kind of tells you what kind of movie you're getting. In a way, this is sort of almost like a crappy version of the First Power, Fallen, that kind of thing, because but also deals with the Templar Knights of Christ send Dolph Lundgren to retrieve a mysterious key. With no time to lose, he must convince her to give, and her being this archaeologist, to give him the key before unspeakable evil is unleashed on the world by the Minion. So why did I mention the First Power with Lou Diamond Phillips or Fallen with Denzel? Because this demon has the ability to jump from body to body. Whether if you don't want to use that, you can use the hidden, although not as graphic or good effects-wise as the hidden. But I meant the first part, like just sort of passing from body to body, and could have been a good film. I mean, horror and action, but I don't know. Maybe this director John Mark Piche, whatever the fuck, maybe he's just not. He wasn't the right director. Like, there's some interesting ideas, or at least to see Dolph in that kind of movie, but yeah, this was disappointing and not that good of a movie. I still haven't seen the one he did called Kill 'Em All. So yeah, there's a lot of Dolphs I haven't seen. And again, I have no way to see them unless I buy the DVD because the edit's so shitty I can't stream it, um, let alone Netflix it. And I have to save up and buy the DVD, I guess, sometime. Not much I can do. So going more random, yeah, Hidden Agenda. Yeah, this was a pretty lame flick. Sally, no, that's another guy. I always get this confused with Hidden Assassin, which I have here. This one, he's a former government agent, makes people disappear for a living. When a top lieutenant for a crime syndicate asks Dolph Lundgren to help him drop out of sight, things take a grisly, unexpected turn. Mysterious hitman known as the Cleaner has infiltrated Dolph's tightly controlled system, leaving a bloody trail behind. I don't remember it being that bloody. With the help of a seductress posing as the mobster's chief assistant, Dolph methodically works through the network of associates to find out what went wrong. Yeah, the plot alone is boring the shit out of me. Yeah, I remember this being a rather boring, lame flick. Hidden Agenda. I don't remember any of the shit in the back being in the movie. Sweepers, which I liked this movie. This gets a lot of crap. I don't know why. Is released by New Image. I thought they did a lot for the small budget they have. Like a lot of like action bits and stunt work and explosions. Dare I say, this almost seems like a PM Entertainment film, but it was New Image. I mean, but with Dolph, I thought this was a pretty damn good flick. I don't know why this film gets so much of a bad rap. I thought it was a pretty damn good flick. Bruce Payne, he's the villain of the film. I thought it had some good stunt works, explosions, gunfights, fisticuffs, stunt work. I like the idea that he's a guy who sweeps for mines, and his kid gets killed by a mine, and now there's these new kind of mines. I know at one point Eddie Murphy and I think even Wesley Snipes would be in this film called Sandblast. This sounds vaguely like that idea, but I mean, this is not the exact plot. But I really like Sweepers. I don't know why this gets such a bad rap. I have no idea. So I definitely think it's one of his more underrated films. And then I have Direct Action and Direct Contact. I'm supposed to have Retrograde, but on the flip side, where Retrograde's at, it's just another copy of one of these two films. I forget which one. So once again, one of these packs that fucked me over. Granted, Retrograde is an awful fucking movie, but if I ever want to watch it again, I won't remember the fucking film, so maybe it's on... I don't want to fucking buy another copy of Retrograde. I barely remember the fucking film. God damn it. Direct Action, it has some flaws, but I thought it was a very basic but straightforward, entertaining action film. I like Direct Action. Definitely, it has a goofy opening title sequence with the music and colors it uses, but I did like Direct Action. I enjoyed it. And Direct Contact, I did like it until I realized they used quite a few of stock footage from other movies. So it made me like the film less. Because, like, wow, a lot of these action films action scenes I liked, it's stock footage. So, yeah, not as much of a fan of Direct Contact as I used to be. So that's disappointing. hidden assassin. It actually has, what's his name? John Ashton from Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2. Directed by Ted Kotcheff, the guy who did First Blood, Uncommon Valor. This is not that much of a movie. I mean, that scene with Dolph is like one of the scenes of action I remember. The rest of it, sort of boring espionage. Just not much. Silent Trigger, I know a lot of people don't like the film. I don't mind it. I thought it was nice to see Dolph play a sniper. I thought you had some good violent bits with the sniper rifle. I thought you had some pretty decent direction by Russell Mulcahy. It's not one of my favorite Dolph Lundgren films. There are problems, but I do like Silent Trigger at the end of the day. I thought it was a pretty decent flick. And that's just a pretty cool cover, too. Yeah, Silent Trigger. Let's see. We have The Peacekeeper with Roy Scheider and, yes, Montel Williams. He's in this film. Pretty much, these bad guys take over. What the hell do they take over? They take over nuclear launch codes as in this facility. As like, we'll launch it unless the president commits suicide on TV, and Roy Scheider plays the president. So it's like Dolph Lundgren, a little bit of a Die Hard type of movie. I mean, it's low budget, but yeah, I found some pretty good entertainment with The Peacekeeper. I had fun. I think this is the one that has a crazy car chase amongst rooftops. I don't know how the hell they did it with such a low budget, but it definitely fucking impressed me. Like an actual car chase over like rooftops of like buildings. So I remember being pretty damn impressed with that. So The Peacekeeper, I think, is pretty damn good direct-to-video flick. One of the time, well, actually, this is, I believe, the first time Dolph got to direct a movie, and he wasn't supposed to direct at first. I think the previous director got sick or something. Ill. The Defender. Sort of like an Assault on Precinct 13 with Dolph. Granted, not as atmospheric. I'm not going to put it in the same rank as Assault on Precinct 13. But I would say I like this better than the Assault on Precinct 13 remake. But it's just one of those where it's, they get this guy, they're trying to get him from point A to point B. Most of it takes place in this sort of embassy type of building. And bad guys are just coming left, right, out of the woodwork trying to kill. And Dolph has to defend, him and his team have to defend this guy, this person. Not sure if it's a guy, they have to defend this person. I think Dolph did a pretty damn good job directing for his first film. And yes, Jerry Springer is the president of the United States. And you know what? He's not that bad. He's actually not that awful in the movie. So, The Defender, I liked. I think it's one of his better direct-to-video films. And another directing job he took, The Russian Specialist, aka The Mechanic, with a K. Good revenge flick. Well directed by Dolph. Gives a very nice performance. Just a very solid revenge flick. Really enjoy The Russian Specialist. Then we get to... This one wasn't too good. Diamond Dogs. Yeah, not too good at all. I don't remember too much about this, to be perfectly honest. Yunnan, aka Nan-Yu, who would be in Expendables 2, she was in this. Agrees to lead an obsessed fortune hunter and his men on a dangerous quest for a legendary relic. I just remember not much happening in this, but it shows a lot when I can't remember a damn thing about the flick. Detention. This was a disappointing flick. It's not the worst Dolph film, but it's directed by Sidney J. Furie. And it was Die Hard in a school. Maybe because I didn't care about the other students, and they took away from Dolph's screen time. The villain didn't do anything for me, and the low budget showed. I mean, it's not the worst Dolph Lundgren film, but I would call this kind of mediocre detention. But there are worse, like this movie. One of his worst films, Agent Red. Directed by Damian Lee. Stock footage from other submarine films like Hunt for Red October, among others. From what I understand, this had quite a bit of history. Yeah, I can't remember the history. That's how boring this fucking movie is. This is one of the films directed by Anthony Hitchcock, who did Waxwork 1 and 2, among others, Hellraiser 3. I thought this was a pretty entertaining film for what it was. Stormcatcher. I thought this was a pretty decent flick. Stealth bomber gets hijacked. He's an Air Force pilot who's falsely accused. He's got to clear his name. I thought it had some nice action bits and some good character moments with Dolph and went at a nice pace. I enjoyed Stormcatcher. I thought it was a fun flick. I liked this movie quite a bit. This Anthony Hitchcock's film, not so much. Jill the Ripper. From what I understand, Anthony Hitchcock at first wanted Tom Berenger, which makes more sense for this kind of role than Dolph. And Dolph's not the issue. It's just, do you need to see Dolph in S&M type of story? It's almost as if it's trying to be that Clint Eastwood film Tightrope. But yeah, I would put Tightrope above this. A series of other men turned up, bound, and murdered. His obsession with finding the killer mounts. And this goes even more further with the S&M stuff than Tightrope ever would with Clint Eastwood. And you can't see that, but like dominatrix type stuff. It's just not the kind of plot you want to see someone like Dolph Lundgren in. It just, not much of, yeah, didn't care for Jill the Ripper, aka Jill Rips. This is I would say, his least successful film as a director as far as the ones I've seen. Missionary Man, I'd rather be in a missionary position with a beautiful woman than watch this movie. It's like this trying to be, I forget what Clint Eastwood film. Maybe trying to be like a High Plains Drifter or something type of guy. Type of thing. When a mysterious stranger with a score to settle goes into this small town. But I remember this just being a disappointing flick. Again, some of these I don't remember much about. Another film he directed, which I didn't mind, Icarus, aka The Killing Machine. I thought this was at least a pretty decent time waster. Maybe a bit more than that. I enjoyed this film. The Package, which he's the villain, and Steve Austin is the hero. Another film I didn't mind. I thought was okay. Thought was one of the better Steve Austin direct-to-video flicks. And Dolph Lundgren, he's not in the film too much, but he did alright as the villain. So yeah, again, one of the alright Steve Austin action flicks. Get a little bit closer picture of that. There's another one I thought I had. Yeah, I do. It's over here. One in the Chamber. I just don't know if I can buy Cuba Gooding Jr. as an action star. He did quite a few of these direct-to-video action films. Cuba Gooding Jr., I don't mind Cuba Gooding Jr. as an actor. I just don't know if I can buy him as a physical action star going up against people like Dolph Lundgren. And Dolph Lundgren, he's kind of the villain, but then he's not really the villain. And then he kind of helps the hero at the end. This I remember not being much of a movie. Sort of a waste of Dolph's talent, in my opinion. It's not the worst film ever, but still. This is easily one of his worst films, In the Name of the Teen 2. Somehow this got a sequel, and there's even a third one. And Dolph, I don't know why he's in this movie. He did this movie right after The Expendables. Hey, The Expendables was a hit. Theatrical. What parts can Dolph get? In the Name of the Teen 2 with Uwe Boll coming back to direct. This is even shittier than the first In the Name of the King. Does this even... Like, In the Name of the King, when you look at it, actually had kind of a budget. This has, like, no budget. And that... Granted, you don't know why the fuck they were in it, but in the name... I swear, In the Name of the King 1 had, like, Jason Statham, like, Burt Reynolds and Ray Liotta and Matthew Lillard, and this, the biggest name other than Dolph is Lachlan Monroe. The cop in Freddy vs. Jason, and I think he was one of the people in Scary Movie as the king. This is a... And it's trying to be like a really shitty version of Army of Darkness, because Dolph is like a modern day guy, and he goes back in time. Yeah, very easily one of Dolph's worst films. And then you have two of his better ones. Battle of the Damned, fun movie. It's Dolph Lundgren fighting zombies. And then you'll have robots as well. And granted, the budget is very cheap. I'm surprised it's not an asylum film for how cheap the budget is. But kind of like Martha Koska's I Am Omega. This is a fun movie, seeing the action star just kick zombie ass, and then you put robots into the mix. A fun, entertaining time. I wish the budget was bigger. I wish this director was a different director, because he does a little bit too much of the shaky cam stuff. Maybe if Dolph himself or someone else directed it, like, I don't know, Isaac Florentine. But this is a fun movie. I still had quite a bit of fun with Battle of the Damned. I'm glad Dolph did a movie like this. And then one of the best, I would say one of his best direct-to-video films, one of his best directing features, Command Performance. It's Die Hard in a concert if Dolph was the drummer in the band. I forget what's the line in dialogue he says. Like, dying is easy, rock and roll is hard. Something like that. This is a very fun movie. Again, Dolph Lundgren kills a guy with drumsticks and like stabs a guy with his guitar, and this is a great... I highly recommend Command Performance. And it was fun to see Dolph in this kind of role. Very entertaining. But yeah, there's quite a few Dolph films I don't have. Like I said, I don't have... I think he did one called Larceny, Riot, War Pigs, Retrograde. So there's a lot I would like to pick up. But for now, these are the Dolph Lundgren films I have. He's done a lot of great stuff, I must admit. You know, quite a few, stinkers. But he's a guy I look forward to, because he'll come up with a gem like Command Performance or Skin Trade, in my opinion, or The Defender, or Battle of the Damned. So, I'm a big fan of Dolph. Thanks for watching, take care, and we will see you later. Bye-bye.